to meet you. How are things?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. So tell me what's going on and how I could help.
All right. So I learned about your program through a colleague of mine, and I'm thinking of doing the LSAT in May. Initially, I thought April, but then I was looking into like their curriculum and everything. I feel a lot more comfortable with May as the timeline now. I have previously taken few courses like a year ago, but I thought I'll be able to balance two jobs, volunteering, school, all at the same time. So I kind of like had a period of time that I wasn't as actively studying. And I know I've been like reading your vlogs and blogs and videos. And you mentioned like wasted time. So like definitely guilty of that. So now I kind of like strapped up. And this is like my utmost priority, and been studying for it for like quite some time now, like a week or two. And here we are. And I just feel like I need a bit more assistance with few of these sections, like particularly logic games and actually all the sections, if I'm going to be honest.
Sure. Well,
Because
I'm glad to help. Yeah.
yeah, and I took like a diagnostic, and I'm literally not where I want to be at all. And here we are.
Sure. Awesome. Well, I'm glad to be working with you. Glad to help however I can. So you're just getting into it now, and you've got a couple months where you can really make anything happen.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, there actually isn't going to be an LSAT administered in the month of May, but
Oh,
but we can expect there will be one in June.
okay, great. Because I'm from Toronto, by the way. I'm based in Toronto, and like all the LSAT for 2021's been flex, and I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure it may most likely be the same in June as well, or it may be an in person. So I'm trying to like see how it's going to be, because like flex and just like in person one may be looking a little different from my understanding.
It'll almost certainly be a flex.
That makes me feel a lot more comfortable. Because like I don't know, I think I was being very ambitious for April. And
Mhm.
then once I like started studying for things like especially logic game, like I so far I went through the orientation and everything, like the videos and stuff like that. Loved the Jeopardy idea. That was so creative.
Thanks.
Um, and as I was going through the videos, I started to realize it's taking me a bit more time, because I'm not just trying to memorize it, like actually like understand it and like teach it to myself as well. So it's taking me a bit longer than expected. So do you have any advice on like how to go about that? Because I feel like everyone's like way ahead.
Well, you've only been at it for a week or two, though. So a lot of
Uh,
people who've been at it for a few months, yeah, they're going to be farther along, but it's not a competition. Just look at where you are relative to where you were before and know that, okay, well, you've gone through the orientations, you're getting into it, and you've got, speaking now in February, you've got approximately 4 months. And you
yeah,
recognize that this is a bit more than you might have initially expected. But that's the case for almost everyone who encounters the LSAT. They think it's going to be like the SAT or like the GRE, and it's a lot harder, but it's worth it though. If you to
yeah,
achieve the law school goal, this is what you got to do. So
yeah.
my advice would be just dig in. I've got live classes, I've got tons of previous class recordings inside the course, and so just start going through them.
Is it okay if I attend it even though like I'm like in the beginner stages? Because like some folks might be like far along.
That's great. They can help you.
Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you. And for like me taking it, like I guess now it's June. Now that I know it's not in May. Is there any piece of advice that I should like take from you? What's the biggest thing that you want to share?
I've got so many things I can't pick just one. Tell me what you're most concerned about, and we can go in that
I'm
direction.
I'm kind of most concerned about like time management and like discipline kind of stuff like that. Cause like as I'm like going through it, I guess it's also because like I only like started in a week or so, but it's so easy to be disheartened because I'm like getting all the questions incorrect. Um, but like how do you go about like going through that little hurdle of slump of like
And one approach could be get them wrong now so you won't get them wrong later.
okay,
I mean, this is
true.
not an easy exam, and every question you get wrong, instead of looking at it as a discouragement, you could say this is an opportunity to learn something new.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to do that, but it's kind of hard when it's like back to back. And I'm just trying to understand it in a way. And I know like you do so much. Um, Another thing I want to ask, and I think you've gone over this as well. How many like hours would you recommend for study? I think that I may have better clarity based on the study guide. But like every day I'm trying to do like 2 to 4. And like I took like the weekend as the break, so my brain wasn't completely fried. Is that enough, or should I be doing a bit more than that?
It's a good question. I mean, honestly, to me, this is a rather simple question that I can give you a direct answer, and then we can go back to the previous topic, which I think there's a lot more there. So
Okay.
I could say, well, what are your other obligations?
Right now I'm just working part-time. So I stepped away from a lot of the responsibilities because I really understood that this is going to be this is like almost like a full-time job if I had to like really commit and get a really good score.
Yeah.
So like part-time, and I just like do volunteering work here and there, like community-based work. Other than that, it's mostly just like LSAT prep.
Okay. So you understand this can be important enough to treat it like a full-time job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, 8 hours a day of LSAT is a bit much, could lead to burnout, because this is not like an office job where there's variety. There's meetings, there's calls, there's a bit of work in a spreadsheet or a document. Maybe you get up and pre-COVID, you get up and go to like the water cooler, the coffee, right? So now it's like, okay, well, you go to your own coffee pot maybe, but if you're working from home, but if you're working part-time, 4 to 6 hours could be achievable. And that's the max I'd recommend. Does 4 to 6 hours on a single day seem reasonable to you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, once again, it's just like going through the slump, like 4 to 6 hours of just like getting questions incorrect. And then like slowly by slowly, like once I get into the flow, because like I'm like such a perfectionist, like initially I'm like, oh, I want to get everything right. But it's like a completely different way of thinking from like how I'm used to. So I think it's just like getting my brain to function in a different language almost.
Right. Exactly. So I'm glad you mentioned the getting questions wrong thing, because that's where I wanted to go back to. I think that's a more fundamental struggle that you may face, and because you mentioned it a couple of times, so it's present for you. And I get that, because this is a big thing a lot of people struggle with. And the number of hours thing, I could tell you 4 to 6, and you may go and do that if you're motivated to do it, which is fantastic. But the getting questions wrong thing is inevitable for 99% of people. And so I want to see if we can reframe that a little bit. So here's one idea. If you get a question right, you feel good because you're like, oh, I got it. I'm doing well. That's nice, right? I want you to put that away, because you just wasted it. You just wasted time. If you got it right, it means that you didn't learn anything. There was nothing for you to learn there. If you get it wrong, on the one hand, that sucks, because you're like, oh, I'm getting questions wrong. That's not my ultimate goal. For test day itself, on test day, you want to get things right and you don't want to get anything wrong. But when you're studying, what if you getting things right is the wrong approach? It means what you just did is too easy. And there's nothing there may be nothing to learn from that.
Right.
So every question you get wrong is actually a chance to learn something new.
So I kind of like took a similar approach, like, because I took a diagnostic. You know how I mentioned I took LSAT courses like a long time ago. So I was just like, oh, let me see how much I remember. But I'm like, really, it's bad. Like I have rust in all like the fundamentals and stuff like that. So it's like me revisiting and starting from square one. And as I was trying to revisit the questions I got incorrect in the diagnostic, it's just taking me a long time to like actually like, get it correct. And I'm just like, part of me is just thinking that, oh, am I like wasting time? Like just being fixated in one question? Because like I remember like when I was doing a logic game in the diagnostic that I got incorrect, I was just trying to figure out where exactly it went wrong. But that took me a long time.
It takes a long time.
Okay.
It takes a long time. Yes. No, it's grueling.
Or
No, this is everybody. I mean, I I teach the Socratic review method in the classes, and I reference it elsewhere too. And people say, well, it takes a really long time to review these questions. And should I spend less time reviewing so I can cover more? How will I cover all the exams if I spend so much time reviewing?
Exactly. So would you say it's better to stick to one question and review it and completely understand it than just like kind of like understand what you did wrong and move on to the next one?
So let me ask you, do you want to completely understand things?
Yeah.
So
obviously
that means you've got to stick on it. And so if you half understand it and you're like, oh, I kind of get it, and then you go on to the next one, you may get it wrong again because you didn't fully understand it. So the goal is to attempt questions that you're likely to get wrong so that you can spend time reviewing them and understand it deeply enough that you will never make a mistake of that nature again.
Okay.
That way you can get it right on test day. But if you half understand it now, then maybe you'll get it right next time. Maybe you won't.
Yeah. I think it's just like, it's just tough because like you're spending so much time in one question, and like I'm not like from previously, like the way I've studied, it's never like, oh yeah, let's just spend like 3 hours really trying to break down the question. So
let me ask you, why do you want to spend less time reviewing?
I feel like if I do more questions, I'm like more exposed to different types of questions that may come up. Because like, what if I'm only fixated in one type of question and I don't have enough time to study for the other ones? But with that being said, since the LSAT is in June, because like I was aiming for May, I feel like that gives me a bit more leeway and like ease to like be okay taking a bit more time, because I feel like I was in a rush, you know, like I'm like I have to rush through all the different sections, because like it's not just like logic games but also like I guess reading comprehension or something. And what if I spend like 2 months on logic game and I just have like 3 weeks for writing com?
Right. You definitely want to cover all the different sections and all the different question types, but you've got approximately 4 months, which is enough time to get that variety. There are also many, many exams out there, but you don't need to cover every single previously administered and released exam. You don't. I mean, there's, do you have Law Hub? Okay. So you've seen there's dozens of exams. They're numbered. There's 89 numbered ones at the moment. And the Law Hub has all the way back down to 20 or so. You don't need to cover all of those. You don't. And think about it for a moment. I mean, back when I was studying for the LSAT in 2005, the newest exams were, I think they were numbered in the 40s. They were numbered in the high 40s at the time. Now, back then, that was the most that was available. They hadn't yet created, or at least had not released, the ones in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and such. It was enough though. I mean, 40 something exams is more than enough. Now we have like double that. Doesn't mean you need to do double the number of exams. I would say focus on the newer ones, but that's plenty. You could work on exam number 60 to present and have that be more than enough over the next 4 months.
Because like I also have like physical copies of some of the reading comps and logic games, and because it's digital and everything, I'm trying to do everything digitally instead of like in physical paper. Like I have a literal binder of like so much questions to go through, but then I think like it's something I guess you can validate too. Like it's better to do things digitally now because I'm going to be taking the exam digitally instead of paper, right?
Oh yeah, no, I mean there's virtually no chance it's going to be paper. I mean it'll almost certainly be the online flex with ProctorU. That Law Hub is similar. Or if not that, if for some reason, I think this is extremely unlikely that they would administer it in person, it would be the digital on a tablet. But my strong prediction is that June, July will almost certainly be flex because of the COVID situation.
Okay. Because I think that also like, for me, it added a level of pressure because not only am I thinking, oh, I have to go to the digital ones, but I also have physical copies of like test exams that I could go through. So I think it was just like the two levels of like, oh, digital and paper.
Yeah. No, it's not going to be paper. I mean, outside North America, they were keeping it paper before COVID, but I think we're with the online flexible, that's where it's going to be.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Those are like pretty much some of my dire questions, and I think the rest just like I could possibly like once I attend your courses, like their classes, like the weekly, the daily ones, I think I may have a bit more clarity because I'm like the only one amongst my friends taking the LSAT. I really don't know anyone else, so kind of feel like a lone wolf in this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure like once I like attend these classes, I'm gonna meet people. So the level of accountability and just even like watching the videos, I was just like, whoa, it feels like I'm not the only one going through some of the questions and stuff like that. And it kind of like blows my mind because I'm in Toronto, right? And everyone else is like in the States, at least from the videos I see. And I'm just like, whoa, this is kind of cool because like literally LSAT's like not just like, it's like literally North America or just like, is it also international? The same thing.
It's international. It's mostly North America. It's mostly US and Canada, but there are some other countries that use it too. But you'll love the live classes. We've got a great community. It's not even just Americans though. We actually have plenty of Canadians too. There are folks in Toronto.
Really? Oh, that's so. Because I was just like, whoa, cool. I can make like friends and like students who are like pretty much in similar pathway as me. So I think that's something that I'm seeking as well because I really don't have any of my friends who are like taking this path. And yeah.
Oh, for sure. Then definitely come to class. I mean, people make lifelong friends in these sessions because you have that deep shared common interest, and you're going through this difficult task together. You can form study groups, study buddies. People meet up and talk about all sorts of things. It's awesome.
And is it like different topics every day?
Yeah, it's a wide variety of topics. We cover reading comp, logical reasoning, logic games. We'll do sessions on admissions. We have study groups. We cover all sorts of things. And so just attend whatever seems most interesting to you at the moment, whatever matches your energy level and your availability. There are some people who attend all of them, and you're definitely free to do that. But measure your energy level. If you don't need it that night, you don't have to go. You can always catch the recording later when it makes sense for you.
There are classes on like personal statement as well?
Oh yeah, there are. So you can submit your application essay drafts, and they'll be added to the agenda for an upcoming workshop. So you'll get feedback from a wide variety of people, giving you constructive feedback on some improvements you can make and telling you what you're doing right, what you could improve on. And you're free to take the advice as you like, but it's good to get all those different perspectives.
Yeah. If there is a class, I think I'm gonna sign up because I really don't know where to start. So that's where I'm at. And I think based on the conversation, that's going to help me create at least like a template or something.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And go inside the course. Also, there's all the previous admissions classes are in there. And we've got at this point, like a dozen different application essay workshops. And we also have sessions on how to start writing your personal statement from the beginning. So I would definitely recommend going in there.
Okay. Because I'm just like following through like the videos and it's like, what's next? I'm just pressing, watching it next. So I didn't know there was a course platform in the site as well.
Oh yeah. So you can go in and there's the foundational section. There's the there's the workshops section, and there's the mastermind section, and there's also admissions as a separate part. I didn't put the admissions with the LSAT stuff because it's a whole separate category. People go. I don't want that to like interrupt your LSAT flow. But if you're interested, definitely go there. If you're like starting to think about it and you want to work on your draft on the side, then skip over to the admissions section and look at some of those ones too to mix it up.
Perfect. Thank you. This was super helpful. And those are pretty much all my questions. Yeah, at least the dire ones that I had so far.
Sure, Tasha. Well, it was really great to connect with you. I'm excited to have you in the course, and I hope to see you in class soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to do this with me.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.